Mr. President, I would like to thank the Assistant Secretary General for his briefing. France requested an urgent meeting of the Security Council on this matter, given the seriousness of the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. After having amassed for several weeks now a significant number of troops and military material, Azerbaijan decided on the 19th of September to launch a large-scale military operation, an operation that mobilized land and aerial means on a massive scale and which affected the civilian population. An operation that no one can believe was not premeditated. Whilst efforts aimed at a negotiated solution are intensifying, and the day before, for the first time in 3 months, delivery of humanitarian aid was able to be resumed. France immediately condemned in the most forthright terms this unacceptable offensive which contravenes the principle of the peaceful settlement of disputes enshrined in the UN Charter. And we were not the only country to think this. A number of countries around this table also robustly refused this violence and arbitrary behavior, calling upon Azerbaijan to show restraint and to respect international law. As was to be feared, the outcome of this action was particularly heavy, with hundreds of wounded and dozens of deaths, including civilians, amongst them several children. A ceasefire was announced yesterday. It was indispensable, and it is essential that it be respected. Mr. President, this is not the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan that is being called into question here. Nobody questions this. It is not being threatened. What is at stake is the possibility for the Armenian people in Nagorno-Karabakh to continue to be able to live in the respect with their rights and history and culture being respected. Such a guarantee can only exist when the stronger party cannot exist if the stronger party exercises deliberate force against the weaker, and when Nagorno-Karabakh now for some time has been subject to a blockade which has prevented the population from receiving food, medicine and energy. France has taken note of the statement of President Aliyev made yesterday, affirming his wish to live in peace with the Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh and to preserve their rights. These words represent a commitment for Azerbaijan. Today, they have the responsibility for the fate of the population. If Azerbaijan really wants to arrive at a peaceful and negotiated solution, it must here and now provide tangible guarantees. It must commit in good faith in discussions to not use force or threaten to use force, and accept that this dialogue relates to the rights and guarantees of the population with the support of the international community. It must ensure the amnesty for the forces that have accepted the ceasefire. It must re-establish unconditionally and without delay traffic on the Lachin corridor in accordance with the order handed down by the International Court of Justice on the 22nd of February 2023. Subsequently confirmed by the court, and it must accept an international humanitarian presence in Nagorno-Karabakh that is essential as the winter approaches. Without these guarantees, there cannot be a solution. Mr. President, unfortunately, this is not the first time that France has alerted this Council to the seriousness of the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. It's not the first time that we have called for the Council to be mobilized to avoid a human drama and further destabilize seriously the South Caucasus region. Events in the last few days confirm this. We cannot remain passive and avert our eyes from what is currently happening in Nagorno-Karabakh, because if we were to do that, we would be an accomplice to the massive exodus of the population that has already suffered so much. A lot of information, as you know, has indicated very many departures, and in preparation for this event, and around 10% of the population of Nagorno-Karabakh was displaced due to the offensive of Azerbaijan on the 19th of September. This Council must continue actively to resolve the crisis. It must defend the principles of the Charter and international law by providing our active support to defining the parameters for a negotiated solution between Baku and Nagorno-Karabakh. International law must be respected at all times, everywhere. And it must remain vigilant in the face of any attempts to drag Armenia into these tragic events and use this as a pretext to call into question its territorial integrity. Prime Minister Pashinyan, over the last few months, has shown a sense of responsibility, his wish to see a de-escalation, and his commitment to find a negotiated solution with Azerbaijan based on recognition and respect for the territorial integrity of each of the two countries, with clearly defined and demilitarized borders. France is mobilized, and we will continue to be so within this Council, as well as in all relevant bodies, to ensure lasting and sustainable peace in the South Caucasus to the benefit of all populations in the region. We are prepared to work with all those who are following the same goal. Thank you.